Okay, I'd like to call to order the Westerly Public School Building Subcommittee meeting for Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. The time is 6 o'clock. Members present are Cindy Kirchhoff, Giuseppe Giancarelli, myself, Justin Hopkins, Chris Lund, Dr. Mark Garceau, Dr. Alicia Story, and Mark McKinnon. We also have as our consultants in attendance, Deb Reed, reading from Downs, and Ashley Prester from DBVW. First order of business is approval of meeting minutes. You should have all received the minutes from our May 29th meeting. If there are no modifications to these minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
One.
Okay, all right. Okay, next order of business is public comment. We don't have any members of the public in attendance, so we'll go to the next item, which is item number 5, approval of invoices. We have a number of invoices for professional services. We'll start with the first one, TSKP invoice number 230601-11 for professional services through May 2024. In the amount of $37,678.45. Deb, this brings us, Bill, the complete phase of the bidding, I believe, or
Yes,
brings us up to bidding. So this is commensurate with where we are, considering we've already got a recommendation to award the bid. Are there any questions to Deb regarding this invoice? And if none, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
There's, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay. Next one is DBVW invoice 2318-12 for professional services through May 2024 in the amount of $50,935.78. Deb, you've reviewed this. This is kind of commensurate with where we are. Okay. Any questions to Deb on this? And if none, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, next one. Collier's Project Leaders invoice number 0000951879 for professional services through May 2024 in the amount of $2,860. Total bill to date, $10,470 or 13% of total contract. I'm assuming this is the bulk of their work is going to be in CA. Is that why
Yes,
we're at this point?
and, this month, May was for State Street.
Okay. Okay, would anybody like to make a motion to approve this invoice?
So moved. Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay. Next one, we're going to take these all together. Downs Construction Corporation invoices number 9 for OPM services through May 2024 in the total amount of $29,165, including Dunn's Corners Elementary School, $7,160, Springbrook Elementary School, $7,160, State Street Elementary School, $13,395, and Springbrook Elementary School roof replacement, $1,450. Are there any questions to Deb on any of these invoices? Hearing none, I'll, okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None.
And just a comment for anyone who noticed that it's been the same every month, is that we're billing off from our staffing matrix that was submitted with our contract.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
So we're correct with that, not over, not under.
So the next item on the agenda is owner's project manager / architect update. Deb, do you want to take it off or do you want to bring Ashley right in?
Actually, why don't I jump in on State Street, because I have a little update from John Chive, and I can just bring everyone up to speed. I did forward OG's draft contract to them today for review, so that's great. We get that in the works. When that comes back, as soon as we get the final RIDE approval, we can get that off to the school solicitor for his review. Let's see, what else do we hear? Conditional approval and wetlands filing with the town was completed. I got that over to Nancy this week, so, that's one to check off the list. Very final steps with RIDE and the town. I think, everything has been uploaded to RIDE. I'm just waiting. Julia has been great. She's been checking in on it, since she's still the one in charge of the RIDE portal. And she was told that, they're just waiting to get to it. We're up next in the queue. So they're hoping to start looking at it this week and let us know if they needed anything else to finally approve that project this evening. Preliminary items were that they are going to request ONG. By them, I mean TSB kickoff meeting. ONG project team and contact info, schedule of values, of course, construction schedule, submittal schedule, building permitting items, and deduct alternates. If we're considering, they want a decision made. So we're gonna be talking about alternates tonight, and maybe we want to discuss that real quick too, if we are actually taking any of those alternates. And that's where they are in State Street. Right now, I'm handing over to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like I haven't been here forever.
You have
I've
it.
been a couple meetings, but. Yeah, you can put lower left would be great. There you go. All right, so, RIDEM, just to give you a quick update, we have gotten all our approvals. That's been sent off to the contractor and the town, so we are good with RIDEM preliminary construction approval. Board of Health should have been triggered, when the septic system was approved by RIDEM, so that's in process right now for the kitchen. I don't anticipate any problems with that. Governor's Commission, we've had a few correspondence over, last couple of weeks. We are currently, they continue to, that should have been 5:30, not 5:20, I apologize for that. They continue to dig their heels in on the, engineered wood fiber. So we've requested a meeting with them, and have not heard back yet to that point. I don't know if Justin's heard anything from them.
I haven't heard either.
Okay, so that's where we are right now with that. We did receive the playground submittal from the contractor for both sites. But the fact is, we're beyond the window of ordering and getting it this summer, so it's a next summer problem anyway. So I don't really anticipate there to be a huge rush on this. The only thing that could
How
come up,
far, I mean, we've kind of socialized this, that this is a potential and what a win it would be to have it showing up, at some point. How far outside of the schedule are we at this point?
I thought we were in the 20-week range, which would put us, I mean, that puts us way into like October. And they gotta do some significant grading and things around at Dunn's. I can't imagine that we would be able to do that this summer. I mean, if we want them to expedite it, we can talk to the contractor and find out what the lead time is and that kind of thing.
Right, we could have them get the areas prepared for the equipment to be installed, and then just take a week at each school to put it down, just have the installation.
Yeah,
Let's just find out what that actually is.
okay, I will do that.
From what date do you think we'd know, Justin? Because that's what they'll say, well, these days keep moving as fast as possible, so we can give them
The last time that we talked about this in a public meeting, there was the potential that we were going to be able to have it done by the end of the summer.
Exactly.
And now we're 6 to 8 weeks beyond that.
Yeah,
So that's not all Governor's Commission on Disabilities, futzing around.
Right.
So that's what I want to understand.
Right, so we tell him that if we gave him the go-ahead, next week, right?
yeah, I need to find out the status of the submittal. The submittal's about 4 days old now.
Okay.
So I need to find out where it is with my consultant. I'll get into that in a minute, and local building and fire permit, have been submitted, and a review is ongoing. So there shouldn't be any, I haven't received any questions yet, so I don't know, what the status of that is. We have a meeting with them tomorrow morning, so we'll find out a lot of this stuff tomorrow morning. So the contract was signed on the 7th. Submittals are ongoing. We've gotten rebar, a lot of things out of order, like window shades and signage, like kind of weird things out of order. I haven't seen steel yet. I haven't seen curbs or utilities, things that I would expect to be the first things. Part of that was because the contractor was not fully engaging all of his subs until he had a signed contract. And now that we have the signed contract from the solicitor, that goes back to the same thing with the playgrounds. That's why some stuff didn't happen until this week. We have settled on job meetings, Thursdays, 10 a.m. I don't know what this body wants to have for any representation you have, Deb, at all those meetings. We might have Mark at a few of them for the moving kind of thing and the summer maintenance, but I don't even think you'll need to be at every one of them because it'll be pretty, we'll be in the weeds with a lot of things most of the time.
So who is the new, sorry to interrupt here. The current principal is going to be the assistant superintendent.
Correct.
So do you have a new principal?
We do not. I have.
Okay. I don't know if you're going through a hiring process or you're hiring internal or whatever. I don't need to have that on a public meeting, but when we have a candidate selected, we would like to meet with them to bring them up to speed as quick as possible, just like we did with Jen last year at Springbrook. Because I think we met her at a playground meeting. It was the first time we met her. So.
And Dr. Garson, in the interim, would Steve still be your point of contact for the school?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
He'll be transitioning in and transitioning out at the same time.
Okay.
Thank you.
So job meetings Thursdays, 10 a.m. I believe the trailer is going to be at Dunn's. I don't know if the trailer is going to be at Springbrook. We identified one, but they didn't think they were going to need one. DBBW will be on site every other week. That's the way our contract was written. Virtual on those off weeks, and then Deb is going to be around the whole time. And if there's any special meetings, we have accommodations to be able to have, kickoff meetings and things like that. We're still waiting on contractor VCI background checks and badging. We're going to push for that tomorrow now that they want to get working in 2 weeks. Even though it's the summer, I want to have a system in place. So I don't want to wait until August for that. Mobilization is going to be starting about a week earlier than July 4th week. It's going to start the week of the 24th. We told them that there could still be some teachers and maintenance on site, as long as we accommodate them for parking and safe entry and exit. We should be fine with that. And then construction supposedly is starting the July 1st. It may wait because of the holiday to the following week, but I expect to see some stuff going on that first week. We are still waiting on schedule. We had an initial schedule value, which we commented on and returned. We're still waiting on an official schedule, 4-week look ahead, things like that. We got some preliminary stuff, but it's not in the format that we wanted, again, because of the contract not being signed until the 7th.
So actually, do we have any instructions for the teachers at Dunn's in terms of what they should expect in the classrooms and what they should be?
That's another thing. I reached out, and you saw the email I sent like a week or two ago. I think it was the end of last week. I took it upon myself to at least provide you some guidance based on our documents on what rooms were being affected by flooring and that kind of thing. The schedule we got said painting. Well, where? What rooms, what are you doing? Flooring. I assumed that it was going to be all the flooring at Dunn's, but they're thinking that might be too much of a take for the summer. So they might only do the first floor and not do the second floor this year. So maybe the second floor is completely off the hook. I don't know. I'm trying to get that information from them. And now that we have a signed contract, they're required to have that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Very
same situation at Springbrook? We don't quite know.
Springbrook is a little bit clearer. Is a lot of flooring, so I don't know how much they're going to take on. It would be nice if they took on the whole thing. There's no abatement there, so the flooring contractor can start at that site. while they're abating duns and just roll right from one to the other. So that's what I mean, in theory, it would be the entire lower level classroom wing would have to be vacated for flooring. And then corridors in most of the areas. So,
So Mark, do we have guys lined up to be able to
We have
expedite that?
Springbrook bottom floor scheduled first thing. We're gonna remove everything in those classrooms. The Dunn's Corner with a little bit of the question marks, we have everything compiled. I have staff ready to go when I find out path of travel and what is actually getting abated, because they talked about the lobby not being included in that as well.
well, I question the lobby because half of it is out of sequence, like they're not gonna take the bathrooms offline until they can build them. So things like that. I mean, they could definitely build some of the lobby flooring. I just don't want to leave you with raw concrete for a year. That's not acceptable. So I want to make sure they've thought through it. And there's other things like on the first floor, Mark and I had a discussion about it. It's a sequence of moves in relating to taking the office areas on the second floor to make room for art, but then the offices go to the first floor, which displaces the behavioral and displaces art and all that. So it's like, it's a sequence that if they're not prepared to do all of it in 8 weeks, then we don't want them to start it. And I'd rather them be geared up and ready to go and just hit those. So it might be abating all the rooms except those 2 or 3. It might just be the corridor and a couple of rooms on the first floor. I don't know. That's what we're trying to find out.
But it does affect the schedule and the materials I need to use if I'm adding more wax on those floors because it's not getting ripped up and.
Yes,
Right. We
Yeah.
will push hard tomorrow.
Yeah.
Information on
we now with
it.
the,
No more excuses. Not
Yeah.
that he was being like that, but I understood that we couldn't lock anybody in and they weren't gonna commit to them, so.
Yeah.
No.
we have a little bit of
Take that
teeth
away.
to say it's
Yeah.
been 7 days. Where are these things? So.
Mhm.
So that's what I say, detailed construction schedule. This is the summer work that we're anticipating. We talked about a lot of it already. Abate the first floor vinyl tile, new vinyl plank at Dunn's. Wall painting, we don't know to what extent. We're trying to find that out. They mentioned the gym at one point. The gym is staging, so we got to figure out when they're going to do that. They really want to hit the Plateau Road site work and utilities hard this summer, but again, I haven't seen curbing, asphalt, utilities, earthwork, any submittals yet on that. So that's one thing we gotta talk about tomorrow is if you're really gonna do that, then you really need to push these submittals, because it's gonna take me the rest of the month, even if they all come in this week, to get approved. So
Little schedule,
we do need a submittal schedule. We have a submittal log, which, yeah.
which I'll.
They did say they want to start the fire sprinkler work. I haven't seen submittals on that stuff yet. I have seen a submittal on the material, but not the design. They have to submit the design and it goes to the fire chief. Foundations, they want to start. Again, I said they have done the rebar drawings. They were revised to resubmit and haven't seen any concrete yet. So hopefully that stuff's coming in the near future. Springbrook, very similar, vinyl plank, vinyl floors, new LVT plank, painting, sprinkler, and foundations. That's what we've heard from him. We just need a clarification and an actual schedule of what's going on. And if they could do the site work at Dunn's, that means that our phasing will change, which means we have to update what the teachers and the parents need to do in September. Which means we would have to do a mailer or information in some capacity to let them all know what we're doing, if the new site is all in place. So I want to make sure that it's not a halfway thing, it's either done or not. So.
Well, so obviously the faster you can let us know about any of the painting or anything like that, we
Yeah.
only get staff here for a week.
Yeah.
And, you know, at a minimum, I'm thinking we should be telling our elementary teachers to clear the walls.
We have done that. We told them to clear the walls and, you know, the standard lock up the valuables, bring them home.
Yeah, anything you care about cover or
Yeah.
take home.
I think they're under the impression that their room is getting painted. And then we're just gonna tell them maybe it won't be. They're all preparing like it is going to happen, and then we'll scale back.
So, there might be a little grumbling if there's, people pack up and then nothing happens. So
Right.
that's the only thing that might happen. So. So alternates, I wanted to review, we had the contractor hold the alternates pricing as best they could until this meeting, so we could have a discussion about ad alternates now that you have, you know what the State Street School is. So we had recommendations the last time. I'm just gonna click all these through here. The recommendations stand that we would still recommend the ADA door operators, DCO2, site lighting, DCO4, stage removal, SBO2. Builder's risk is still a question. The town's insurance company is, how many hoops have you had to jump through so far?
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if he's through, but I gave him the schedule of values and that seemed to.
Yeah,
to
everyone's firstborn is now committed to this insurance company.
Just get a quote, so
yeah.
I think they're working on it. I didn't said she was gonna follow up, but she's kind of exasperated and just want to.
We need to have something in place by July 1 if they're, or even before that, if they're mobilizing on site. So if they're mobilizing in a week, we kind of have to resolve that next week.
Yeah.
So either we need to pull the trigger here on this and then ask them, they might need to get a requote because this has been from April. It might, the 50,000 might change a little bit. The only other alternate that I might recommend, given where the money situation is recoding and restoring the existing soffits at Dunn's. It's a very small number, 25,000. It would be a lot to bring that building up to snuff. You get rid of all the tar drippings on the facade. And for small amount of money, I think that would work well.
What is the scope of that? Is it to replace or just to clean?
It's to clean and to recoat it with a pine sand paint. It's like a sand paint finish. It's a specific, like plaster paint almost. So it's a recoating of the stucco that's up there now.
So under this recommendation, it would be DC1, DC2, or do you have another?
I have more clicks, but I did not have DC1 in there because I didn't know. So we would amend the amount. This is 285, which includes the 4, and then we would add the DC1 to it as well. So a total would be 310,000.
And that would put our global state still at $1 million.
1.1 around that range.
Yeah, 1.15.
What's the pleasure of the building subcommittee here? These seem like no-brainers to me.
Yeah, me too.
Let's do it. Okay, so this would not be a change order, it would just be a contract amendment, correct?
It would be we would process it as a change order. It would have no, I have to check. I don't think it includes any bond because the bond was supposed to be included in the amounts. Because normally it would have been adopted during bid.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be a change order, but they would just have to make sure they don't include any for bond or anything like that. That would be the only way I would be able to process the change. Unless you're thinking another way, Justin.
Well, if that's the contractual mechanism to have it entered into the contract, it's not
change order work.
It's not change order work, it's
Yeah.
bid day work, so you just need to make sure that the language in the change order doesn't include anything additional, any additional markup or.
I can ask them if they would if they would prefer a contract amendment, but then we'd have to send it back to the solicitor, so I'd be a little worried about that.
Yeah.
So we could talk about it tomorrow with him, and I think a change order, and just make sure he understands it's with the amount.
Yeah.
And nothing more, no markups. That's what I would intend.
Question on the 8 doors.
Yes.
How many doors are we getting? Is it just the main entrance?
No, this is not the main entrance. This is the main entrance actually are ADA compliant right now. They just don't have the motorized operators.
Okay.
What this is to fix, it's almost exclusively at Dunn's. There might be one or two at Springbrook, but it basically takes all those niches that you have at Dunn's, one per grade and every special. And makes the doors, it puts an operator on the door that can be turned on or off, so it keeps your security. If you don't have a child in a wheelchair, in that room, you just turn it off so that you can't hit the button during an event and open the door. It involves, electric strikes, so it unlocks the door and opens the door. The operator itself, the electric for it, and all that. I believe it's over 20 locations at Dunn's. Yeah, it's a lot of them. But it allows you to have more ADA compliance, than you have now.
It's not uncommon for a building of that age, like for instance, this alcove where we have a door.
Yeah.
At Dunn's, it's tighter.
Yes.
So the ADA, the ADA requirements are that you need to have 18 inches on the pull side of the latch side of the door when you enter a building or enter a room, and 12 inches on the push side. And where those doors are alcove, you don't have that maneuvering clearance. So the way you get around it is by not having that be an actual operation.
Yeah, and considering this, the concrete block walls of the school are bearing walls, we don't want to touch any of that. We don't want to start doing all those niches over.
Any other questions on any of these? I think we should probably have a formal motion and a vote if everyone's in agreement here.
Yes.
Motion to approve alternates DCO2, 04, DCO4, SBO2, BO1, and DCO1.
Second.
305.
310.
10, sorry.
Right, no, it is 305. I'm doing math wrong. I'm sorry. 305 total.
Right.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Right, so I'll process those starting tomorrow. Thank you very much. Roof, this is one slide, just to tell you everything. Contract was sent to Commercial Roofing. They responded yesterday that they have no objections to it, so I believe it's, we're still waiting on a signature from Commercial, correct?
Right.
Yeah. All right, so we're waiting on a signature from them. Submittals have started. I sent the Garland roof submittals off to your rep, so he can review them and make sure they're providing what we own as a proprietary item. We got DD approval from RIDE on the 24th of May. CD approval is ready, awaiting one particular item that Deb, Joe, and Cindy have been working very hard on, which is the MOA. Finding a funding stream for the roof itself for reimbursement. I don't know if I can't really speak much more than that. I don't know if you have any questions on that part, but the goal would be we find that and it's pretty much I would expect it to be a rubber stamp from RIDE, because almost everything that we submitted in DD is the same in CDs. We submitted the bid results and it's just a repeat. So it should be pretty straightforward. Local building and fire permits have been issued. Construction meetings again on Thursdays, but those are going to be at 1 o'clock, same day, so we can just roll them all together. We're
So
doing
what are you gonna do in between the 10 o'clock meeting and a 1 o'clock meeting?
my sidewalks.
Okay.
Figured the meeting will take 90 minutes and, no, I'm not going to the beach. So.
I wouldn't blame you if you did.
Maybe at the end of the summer, I'll find a day, but, BCI and badging, same thing. We haven't really talked with them about it, but it's the same requirements in there. We want to make sure they have that. Their site mobilization is also starting, but again, their site mobilization is dependent upon not accruing any labor costs until July 1, because it has to be in the new fiscal year. So we don't know how much they're gonna do before July 1. But then, yeah, in theory, as long as we have SBA approval, then we'll get approval, they'll be proceeding after July 1. So that's where we're at right now. Submittals are coming fast and furious, and we're processing them pretty good rate right now. There's not many that have been very long. So that's it.
Any further questions for Ashley?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else you want to add, Deb?
I'm sure everyone here knows that last week we did get approval to award from the school committee. Let's see why the contract is issued.
So-
Notice of award did go out on.
Great.
official.
So everything is in place to get the contracts executed by June 30th, which will allow us to qualify for a maximum of 55% reimbursement. Correct. Okay. That is, we should all be proud of that because it's taken a good bit of effort to get to that point. Okay. Item number 7, capital projects update. Just stick around for a little
Yeah,
bit,
that's fine.
Ashley, because during next steps, I'd like to talk about future meetings, protocols.
Yeah.
So,
We had a pre-bid for the locker room yesterday, and we had 7 contractors show up. So I was very pleased by that turnout. Everything else is getting scheduled. Submittals are coming in for the door hardware. We have scheduled the seal and stripe for the parking lot here at Ward for the first week of July. The alarm upgrades are gonna take place in the month of July as well. Vestibules are submittals have come through. We're going through the contract phase now, getting Martone on board, and everything else is progressing as it should.
thank you. Any questions for Mark? Okay. So next item is next steps. I'd like to just talk about the upcoming meeting calendar. We would normally be meeting on June 26th, July 10th, July 24th, August 14th, and August 28th. I think so those are typically the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. At this point, I don't see, so we're going to need to be meeting to move along invoices and pay applications. So I would like to, hear me out here, I would like to see if there's any objection to, for the summer at least, eliminating the second meeting of the month for June, July, and August, which would be the June 26th meeting, July 24th, August 28th. So we would be meeting July 10th and August 14th. And for those meetings, hopefully we can work with may not be feasible to get payment applications from our contractors for that meeting, but I think we need to start looking at utilizing the first meeting of the month of the building committee to approve the last month's invoices.
I think that's great.
Okay.
And I know Tower has been asking about expediting that approval process, so I think they'll be very cooperative in getting us.
Tell me to get a submittal schedule first. And then we'll talk.
We're talking about getting paid, exactly.
So school committee meets once during July and August, I just don't know what days.
This would still be on the off,
Is it?
yeah.
Just July 10th, no, July 10th would have been more positive.
Did you say 8:15 or 8:14?
8:49.
Should be 14, right?
Yeah, that's how we're at.
July 17 is school committee. And August 21.
So we would meet July 10th and August 14th.
If we need to hold a special meeting, we can do that.
Yes.
We wouldn't need to, but just-
Yeah, if we need to just, I don't want to meet for the sake of meeting,
Right.
even though I love seeing all you guys, a couple times a month. I don't see, there's no real, unless there's something that comes up,
Right.
then we can hold open that second date in June, July, and August, but at this point, I don't see any need to.
Good.
When it starts getting in, I mean, I don't know, we'll try it out and see if meeting once a month works. It's just when we start to get into a change order rhythm, there's probably going to be a need to act faster than once a month. It's just kind of a challenge in that regard. There might be things that come up that need immediate approval, but
Are you still thinking of putting together a subcommittee for approval?
I would like to establish a subcommittee to review change orders up to a certain amount. And I would like to see if, some of the folks that have experience, construction experience in here would be willing to be part of that.
Right.
I think Chris, I don't want to burden members of the subcommittee, but if it's something that, okay, so this is what I've learned. We can't call this subcommittee because then we would have to advertise it.
And you have to
Okay.
actually meet, right?
Yes. So if it's a working group,
Review?
if it's a working group of committee members that do not constitute a quorum, that you can meet ad hoc virtually to review change orders. I am going to have to, until I finalize an ethics determination with ONG, I'm going to stay away from reviewing anything regarding financials or change orders with ONG. So, I'm thinking, Chris, and maybe Mark would be a good team of three to review change orders.
And I was already thinking, anything that comes in, if Ashley is available to be on site, that's fine, but I was gonna do the legwork, vet it out.
Yeah.
And I'll come back to you and let you know if it's valid, and if there's any other options we can consider that would be more cost effective.
So I guess as a group, we should probably, first of all, I kind of sprung it on you. Is this okay for you guys to operate in that capacity? So as a group, I think we should probably establish some parameters that would kind of give the working group the authority to say, up to a $20,000 change order that would, this group would be able to review and recommend passage, but does that sound steep to you?
It's pretty heavy.
10, would you be more comfortable with 10?
10 is better, isn't it?
Okay. I think you still need to be part of the review process, but for change orders in excess, but we'll just say anything above 10 needs to come to the building committee for full approval. Is that okay?
That's
Yeah, I think one thing to point out to this whole group is that Deb and I are gonna be vetting out all the change orders first round. A lot of times they come in and there's things not done, or we don't have material breakdown or labor breakdown. You won't see a lot of that back and forth. It's just when it gets to its final state, if we need an approval, that's when the working group would be engaged.
unless it's, very time sensitive. And then we'll get it out to you and let you know that we're still working on it, but at least you can start thinking of if you have any questions.
If there's a time sensitive thing, would the vehicle be a CCD, and would that working group have the same authority for up to $10,000?
I would think so.
Okay, the CCD is a construction change directive, which allows work to proceed on a timely manner while the price is being worked out, as long as it's not to exceed whatever amount is dictated.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Great vehicle moving forward. And that would apply to all three projects?
Yes. Okay, so does anybody have any objections to meeting 2 more times this summer, July 10th and August 15th? And just in the event that we need to have a special meeting, it would either be June 26th, July 24th, or August 28th. So I figured that would be a popular one. Okay, then the only other thing that I wanted to discuss was, Mark, do you have everything that you need in terms of end of the year communications, all that stuff? The presentation, do you have TSKP's PDF presentation?
Yep.
Can we post that in Ashley's last presentation to the website?
I thought we already did.
Maybe we already
did. Not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we did, yeah. We can get the other one up as well.
As much as I hate to say this, the end of the summer is fast approaching. And we should probably discuss, I do think prior to the start of school, we should have a groundbreaking for all of the projects. And I'm thinking that the State Street site would be a good one to do, and that's something we can, once ONG mobilizes and starts partitioning the site, you know, they can bring their gold shovels and bucket of dirt. And whether or not, let's talk to Audrey about, you know, whether or not we kind of align this with back to school night prior to going. It can be like an hour before or an hour
Sure.
after. Because I think it would be nice to have some of the kids involved in the
Absolutely. Yeah.
shoveling of the
Yeah,
dirt.
that would be
We have a
great.
lot of parents on hand, so.
Yeah.
Like the ice cream, they usually do an ice cream social or something
Yeah.
before school starts, so
Yeah.
that would be perfect.
Yeah. So I guess we can talk with Audrey offline or at the next meeting, but I think we should thoroughly advertise it. Invite everybody, invite the school committee, invite the town council, have a
How about the other
sing
two
some
schools?
songs, yeah.
I think, if there's a possibility that Dunn's Corner site work might be done by the start of school, perhaps we should.
I would almost recommend, because of the limited scope at the two schools, maybe do a beam signing. Maybe
Yeah.
when they're ready to top off the steel, one of the last pieces, you can have the kids sign the beam and then.
Oh, yeah, that's a given.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of a groundbreaking.
right, that's pretty difficult.
So anything else, that anybody would like to bring up for next steps? Okay, hearing none, next item is public comment. There are no members of the public that continue to not be here. So, the next item is adjournment. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We do.